Okay, if you study Dan Kennedy for very long at all, what you'll find is that from time to time he says he's not a very good copywriter. And I think what he means is that there are some copywriters who are known for this just like amazing, like big idea copy where it's just, it can go out into this cold audience and just persuade these people who may not even be thinking about this offer at all it'll follow them. It'll take them through this process of like discovery of, oh my goodness. And Dan really prefers to shoot fish in a barrel. So for example, he will find ways to slice and dice an audience and a market and a list until he's speaking to the exact person, and he can just write some really direct copy that's like, okay, if you are a flight attendant over 30 who is having ankle pain, let me help you discover the ways to whatever is required, right? And so he'll get hyper specific with the audience, and then he'll just write some very direct copy that doesn't require him to be this like super, high level, big idea copywriter. But all of the little tips and tricks that he uses are immensely valuable no matter what type of copy that you are writing. And I remember going back to 2009, that's when I actually heard this from him the first time. It was the first time I heard him speak. Dan was talking about how to write better copy faster. So this was at AWAI in fall 2009. I actually got invited to be on a panel about spare time business success. I was helping AWAI with that email newsletter that they were putting out at the time. And I got to be on this panel at the start of the day on Friday. And immediately after our panel was Dan Kennedy. So it was super cool to be up on stage and have that opportunity to see him the first time, but also to be presenting from the same stage. And he shared this epiphany for speed copywriting that to me just always stuck with me, and I use it pretty much on every piece of copy I write at this point. It is thinking in chunks, thinking in terms of copy chunks. So what does that mean? Well, he actually demonstrated his trick to convince stubborn men to buy hearing aids. He was working with Miracle Ear at the time, and he had this whole direct mail piece that he'd put together for Miracle Ear, and he showed it to us, right? And among the different pieces within this direct mail piece was this booklet that he would send out, or that they would send out to the prospects of who might be interested in hearing aids, who someone else had drugged them into the store. And Dan recognized that there's a lot of people who are kind of macho men, and they're stubborn about this idea of feeling like they need hearing aids, right? And so he created all of these different avatars of people who might be a little bit resistant to getting hearing aids, who would maybe, if they saw someone like themselves, decide to go through with the purchasing decision. And so, for example, he recognized that there are, former military and law enforcement who've been around firearms their entire life and who didn't always have the best ear protection, or construction workers and others in large environment or loud environments where it's just a day-to-day reality that your ears got beat up. He had like rock star musicians, like he had all these different people who were interesting avatars to the target audience, right? Who might have justifiable reasons for hearing loss. And he said, find yourself here. And then he told the story of individuals whose lives were made better, individuals who fit that avatar, whose lives were made better through the decision to do hearing aids, to get hearing aids. And he uses this frequently in his copy. He finds a list, he comes up with a list of all the different people who might be a good fit for the particular offer. And then he writes about why that particular person is a good fit for the offer. Well, that's a lot of little copy chunks that can really resonate with your audience, and that are fairly quick and easy to write once you've done a little bit of research. And with that, you're able to convert more people. So he has different copy chunks that he teaches, and I'll share some with you in a minute. But one of them is like who this is for, who this is not for. And when I wrote the promo for the Titans of Direct Response that Dan actually partnered up with Dan Kennedy to put on, one of the pieces that I put fairly early on in the promo, before I started talking about all the content that was going to be delivered, I said, before we go any further, I have to warn you, this event is not created for beginners or opportunity seekers. If you're looking for the best place to start a direct response career, this is not it. While you're still free to attend, your investment will best be spent elsewhere. So, straightforward, who this is not for, and then who this event is for. I built this event from the ground up for serious direct response pros, business owners, CEOs, executives, consultants, copywriters. If you've already established yourself in this business and now you're looking to gain an unfair and extreme advantage over others, grow your business faster than your competition, create control marketing packages that trounce everything tested against them, completely dominate your niche or your industry, take your business into new media and uncover brand new untouched markets, use tested, proven, advanced strategies for creating such rapid growth that'll make your head spin, connect with the sharpest and most dedicated pros in direct response, the royalty who wouldn't miss one of these closed-door boardroom events for the world, and the titans who will be joining us for the first time, then you're likely to take what you learned at this event and use it to multiply your investment 10x, 100x, even 1000x before next summer. And you're absolutely welcome and invited to join us. So, who it's for, who it's not for, that's a great type of copy chunking. There's also lots of different approaches that you can take to copy chunking. So, for example, what this is, what it's not. That's used a lot in lead generation copy. What this isn't is very effective, right? So here's the big promise that we have for you, and here's all the things that you've probably already tried that you should know that this isn't. What you're going to get. Okay, that's fairly easy. At some point, you just sit down and you say, here's what you're going to get. Your bio, backstory. That's a chunk of copy that you can just have, that you have an appropriate place to fit it in and maybe adapt it to the particular promo. The way that you introduce your offer. In my case, in some of my training, I teach a 4-part offer framework that is, it's just a great chunk of copy for introducing an offer. Your guarantee, that's a chunk of copy, right? Your call to action. There are different approaches to calls to action, but that can be a great copy chunk. And the more you think in these chunks, then you can kind of sit down and you arrange the copy and you say, okay, I need to have this chunk and this chunk and this chunk and this chunk, and they make sense in this order. And therefore, I have most of my sales letter fleshed out even before I know maybe what the big idea is. And then it's big idea, and then the rest of it is assembled as copy chunks written to reflect the big idea. So my call to action for you at the end of this is to ask yourself, what kind of copy chunks are you using or should you have at your disposal in your toolbox as a copywriter? Ask yourself that and maybe put together some notes. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get more content like this delivered to you. And by the way, copy chunking is something that I do teach in my high velocity copywriting. I go a little bit deeper into it, along with a ton of other tips and strategies for writing more effective copy that's designed to get leads, customers, sales, and profits, designed to get results. And I would encourage you to check that out. That's the first link in the description. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, and I will see you again in the next episode. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.